For this project, we used fleece material. We cut out two rectangular pieces of 22 by 5. You could also go up a size and do 24 by 5. And then you're going to need two smaller rectangular pieces of 2 by 4 inches of fleece. I recommend measuring the head, either your head or the person that you're gifting this to, figuring out the perfect size. I personally made the 22 by 5 and it was just a little too snug, so I did go up a size and I made a 24 by 5, and that fit perfectly. It gave my ears a little wiggle room, and it's super, super warm. We do have a cutting mat and rotary blades and fabric scissors in our Forge Makerspace that you are always welcome to come in and use. The piece of equipment we'll be featuring in this video is our sewing machines. Our Forge Makerspace has 8 Bernadette B37 machines that are very easy and simple to use. There are instructions right on the machine that can help you, spin your bobbin and thread your machine to start your project. So here what we're doing is making sure that we have the back ends of the fabric on the outside and the front ends on the inside. So the ends that are what you want people to see. So most of the time it's very bright and colorful, or it's very nice. So we keep that on the inside because we're going to flip this right side out. I'm going to use some pins to pin my 2 pieces of material together to make it easier to feed through my machine and make sure that everything stays the same. I'm going to pin this about 1/4 inch of the way in, all down both long ends. I'm going to do the exact same thing to the smaller pieces of 2 by 4 rectangles that I have. I found it a little difficult trying to find the right side of the material because it's very similar. It was a blanket, so both sides look very similar to each other. And I'm going to go ahead and pin it the same way as I pinned the larger pieces. It's time to sew. So go ahead and lift your foot up using that back end here where my hand was, and then go ahead and insert your fabric and then press it down. So right now I just pressed it down. I'm just making sure all my pin is out so that I don't mess up the needle. Make sure your pins come out. And then I'm going to go ahead and adjust the speed. I like to go slow. I'm not much of a sewer, so this is a very beginner friendly project. And I'm going to go ahead and feed the material right through. So I went ahead and sewed both sides, both long ends of my fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it right side out. I just kind of stick it through one end and pull it out through the other side. And once you get that all unraveled, you have a really nice long tube. The next thing we're going to sew is the smaller pieces together. And we're going to do the same thing, it's just a smaller version of this tube. Well, that was fast. Now I'm going to use my scissors to trim off just the excess thread that's coming off of my tubes, just to clean it up a little bit. And I'm going to also flip this tube right side out by just shoving it in one side and pulling it out the other. Now I'm going to fold this tube in half, as you can see here, and we're going to sew directly right on top of those two ends. Be very careful. Our machines are a little tight on the foot, but it is very important for you to put your pressure foot down so that you get a nice tight sewn portion of that tube. I like to go slow and just kind of guide my fabric through. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim that excess thread, and as you can see now it's this cute little like pocket kind of thing, and I'm gonna flip it right side out again so we can hide that seam that we sewed. We're going to thread this larger piece through this little tube that we just created to create our little knot effect on our headband. So you're just going to push it right through and just put it anywhere within that larger piece for the time being. You can always adjust this and move this back and forth. The inserting of the larger piece into the smaller piece does take a little bit of time, but it's worth it. It looks so adorable. And now the same thing we did to that smaller piece, we're going to do it to the larger piece. So we're going to sew both ends together by folding it in half. We're going to cut off the excess thread from our headband, and we're going to flip it inside out as well to hide that seam. And we have, look how beautiful that is. We have our headband, guys. You can adjust that smaller knot anywhere you'd like. I like to put it on the side so you can't really see the seam when you're displaying it. And you can package this up really nice in a nice gift box. It's just very cute and adorable. You can add a special touch by maybe ironing on a name somewhere on the headband or any decals if you have a solid color fabric. But that's it. That's how you make this cute, adorable headband that will keep your ears warm all winter long.